She didn't know she had this. I've done so she didn't know. You'll never get tell her Roy Miller said something for me.
First thing I want to do is have us say thank you to Bob and Joanne Haney for opening their home. Bob, do you want to, or Joanne, do you want to say anything? Bob, you want to say something, Bob? Say something for fun. Well, thank you very much. Well, the only other thing I would say is to draw from a presentation that Senator Kyle made a couple years ago with Henry Kissinger, where he made the mistake of saying, well, this is a man who needs no introduction. Oops.
That's Henry calling.
Everybody check their phone.
Hey, Mary, welcome. Nice to see you. So, anyway, Henry Kissinger gets up and says,
Well, I may need no introduction. I always like to hear one.
So I'll give a short one. Some of you already know from the email that I sent out that I had Ron speak to my Rotary Club in 1988 when he ran for president as a Libertarian. But as a lifelong registered Republican, I'm even more enthused this time because he's running as a Republican. And I really believe, as I'm sure many of you do, that it would be nice if the Republican Party would adopt more libertarian principles. And I really think that if they don't, they're going to die. We are going to die. So I'm counting on Ron to move the party in that direction while he's getting elected president. So we've had a wonderful day today. We've had several interviews and a nice luncheon that was packed. And so it's just the groundswell, I think, is growing, and I appreciate all of you coming. And Ron's going to speak for a few minutes and then take questions. So, hey, Ron. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I too want to thank Joanne and Bob for opening up your homes. It's beautiful, it's wonderful. I was told that weather is like this every single day in Arizona. Yeah. So I'm moving here.
We'd love to have you.
But it is real nice now. Roy said that it's good that I'm running again, and I'm running as a Republican, but the truth is I'm still running as a Libertarian. But, you know, there's nothing too strange about running as a Libertarian, and it's not negative. I found that out, or I could have been elected how many times now? Many times. I guess it's about 10 times over the last 15 or 20 years or whatever, and everybody knows I'm a Libertarian. So the ideas of liberty must be popular, and I think that's very good. I can recall when I made the decision to go back into politics. I left the Congress in '84 and decided in '86 that I would try it again. I think I was encouraged by the election of '94, you know, when the Republicans said they believed in less government and we're going to have this revolution. I thought, well, maybe they're serious this time around. So I decided to run. But the strange thing is when I went to my Republican delegation in Texas, it had grown a lot. When I first was elected in '76, there were only 3 Republicans out of Texas, so there were a lot of shifts in the demographics. And so I went to the delegation. I knew they would be a little bit cautious about me coming back into the Congress, but I didn't know how cautious they would be. So I went to them and had a little meeting and said that there's a Democrat in the 14th district, and because of the gerrymandering, there's a change from the late. By that time, had the 22nd district, And I said, I'm in the 14th district. So I told him, I said, I believe I can take the 14th district and turn it into a Republican seat. And figuring, you know, they never had a strong margin, so I thought, well, this would be exciting. I bet he could. You know, he's independent, maybe he could beat a Democrat. And you can't believe, to my surprise, how quickly I changed that seat to a Republican seat. Because they went and got the guy to switch to the Republican Party 3 weeks later. So with rather bold promises like, we'll raise $1 million for you. The first President Bush endorsed him, our Governor George Bush endorsed him, our senators endorsed him, Newt Gingrich endorsed him. Well, that might have turned out to be a benefit for all I know. But everybody endorsed him, and I figured by that time everybody knew I had these libertarian views. I had associated directly and openly with libertarians. So I thought, well, what's this going to be? This is going to be different. In the 70s, nobody even heard the word libertarian. Nobody knew what it was all about. So I figured, well, maybe this go around, it's going to be different. So I predicted in my mind, I'll bet you that they will not let it go unnoticed, that I took a position that the federal war on drugs was sort of insane, crazy, and ought to be done away with. So at the very first press conference, my prediction was right. The very first single question that came up was, you know, what are you going to do about legalizing drugs and giving drugs to kids and all these kind of things? And I thought, well, you know, I made my attempt. They're going to tear me to pieces. There's no way you can win. I live in a Bible Belt, and they aren't going to be very sympathetic to these views, so I was a pessimist and very negative. But lo and behold, the Republicans by that time were campaigning against me in a Republican primary, and they spent their $1 million working on one issue, the drug issue. And even then, I thought, well, they will undo me on this issue. But we answered back to them and stuck to our guns and said, no, the war isn't any good. It causes more harm than trouble, and argued the case of personal responsibility. And as a physician, I didn't like drugs, and as a parent and grandparent, I didn't like it. So I took a strong hand, but stuck to my guns. And the federal government has no business telling us what we should do with our lives. And we won that primary. And I guess it sort of surprised me that we did. But what really surprised me is after that, we're still a Democratic district and had not had a Republican. So when the general election started, what did they do? The Democrats thought the same thing. Nobody can have this drug position in conservative Bible Belt Texas and get elected. It's impossible. So they spent all their money on the drug issue as well. So, which the moral of the story is that libertarian views, although that some people are shy away from them because they might agree, but they think they're politically unpopular, it's not true. I just think that our views are, if they weren't more popular, I wouldn't have been able to get reelected. And I think it's still a major issue. This is one of the major issues. It's a freedom issue. It's a practical issue. It's a monetary issue. It's an issue that appeals to a lot of people across the board. When they preach to us on the House floor about compassionate conservatism, I will get on the floor and mock them and say, yeah, you're so compassionate that you won't let somebody dying with cancer or with AIDS to smoke something that they raised in their backyard, and you'll put them in prison even if they're in a wheelchair. I said, that's hardly compassion. And you know what? You don't have to be a libertarian or a Libertarian Party member to have some understanding of that issue. But members of Congress over the years have come up to me, not only the drug issue, but many of the other issues, and would say to me, yeah, you know, I agree with you on that, but I can't get reelected if I do that. And implying, if I don't get reelected, how am I going to save the country? They imply that, yes, I agree, but I couldn't vote that way. And part of that is just laziness, and part of that is an assumption that all voters are idiots and that they won't, that they're not nearly as smart as they are. But I think the people are way ahead of the Congress. I think right now, I think we're getting some pretty strong information that people are way ahead of the Congress on this war. Not only on the drug war, but that other war that kills a lot of people as well. And very